Hey guys, Jake Boomer here with the Alpha Bass Cast, and this is the beginning of some content we're going to put out this year called the Bass and Cheat Code. Stuff that we've all learned, stuff that we've got to pull together that we're going to try to help you guys out with it. And it could be anything. It could be getting more sponsors. It could be getting better sponsors. It could be planning a successful season, how we break down lakes with different tools that are available to us, and it's not just Google Earth anymore. So let's get into it. The number one cheat code for 2026, especially since it's the beginning of the year, that you should be doing is setting a budget. And don't tell me I'm an old man, because I know it. Nobody does it, and I used to never do it too. But let me give you 3 reasons you should have a budget at the beginning of every season. I don't care if you're just doing it for like local derbies that you're going to do, or if you're trying to qualify for the elites. Everything in between, there's 3 reasons you should set a budget. The number one is it forces you to have a plan. You can't budget if you don't know what you're going to fish. If you're just going to jump into some stuff, yeah, whatever, it's just fun fishing. But if you're going to fish all of the biggest opens in your area, you're going to budget for those. You're going to plan for them. And when you plan for them, it actually sets a priority. It means that on these weekends, instead of going and screwing off with my buddies at a different lake, I might go to the lake that I'm going to be fishing for, where I could win that big open, or where I'm going to need those points to get into the Super 60 or to get into the MLF or BPT, any of that kind of stuff. By setting a budget, you're forcing yourself to set a plan. You have to do that. The number 2 reason you're going to want to set a budget is you've got to enable your support system. So for instance, I've got an example here. I have my Super 60 budget up. I'm going to dump 15 grand just fishing those 4 events at the pro level Super 60. My support system has to understand that and be able to support it. And your support system could be your family, it could be your sponsors. It's all of that. But if your wife ain't cool with the amount of money you're dropping, I promise it ain't even worth starting the season, because you won't fish well. If you got trouble at home, don't go fish against these guys that don't have trouble. Like, their minds are 100% on catching bass. If you are encumbered with work, don't have enough time off, all that kind of stuff, your wife isn't cool with the money you're spending, that support system, I'm telling you, just don't do it. Trust me. I've got examples. My second year of the NPFL, my support system kind of fell apart due to me not being at home enough to take care of my business and the things I was doing. The drastic difference between the first season and the second season is all attributed to that. So enable your support system. And if you're one of those guys that your parents are kind of help picking it up, still set a budget, because they're going to be a lot happier when you hand them hey, this is my plans and this is what I want to do and this is the money I need. You know what I mean? All right. And the 3rd reason you've got to set a budget is because it's going to provide purchasing priority. And what I mean by that is, if you're trying to get to another level, if you're fishing some stuff, you're probably not going to chase that new boat. And I'll give you a great example. Like, I ran a 2019 Phoenix for 7 years. I actually had to repower it. I wore one of the motors out. The main reason I did that was I didn't want a $700 a month boat payment. I wanted that money to go to entry fees and travel expenses and all that stuff. And travel expenses can be a ton, right? I mean, we're spending about, on average, $3,000, $3,500 a tournament in the Pro Tour. I don't need a $700 boat payment. So I stretched out that boat. Like, knowing how much money I'm going to spend when I dive into this really helps you understand, do I really need a brand new boat? I didn't. My boat was excellent. Those priorities will help you not waste money in areas that aren't going to help you reach your goals. So set a budget for 2026, pick your derbies, and then get your head straight and go knock them out. So that's your that's your first cheat code for this year. Here's an example, guys, of what I'm talking about with a budget. And I'll try to put a link to this so that you can download this base form. I don't know if you guys are good at this kind of stuff. You guys use whatever you want. Use paper, use pen, just do it. Just do something. But here's an Excel spreadsheet that I built for my 2026 Pro-Ams. I'm going to do 4 Pro-Ams this year. This helps me set the goal. The goal is I want to get into the championship. BAM has a $250,000 championship at the end of the year. You can get in through the Pro-Ams, or I can get in as a Super 60 angler. Whatever your goal is, if you're doing that, this is what a season, because we have a Pacific Northwest swing, looks like. If I wouldn't have done Shasta, I'd probably be only looking at about $5 grand for the season with entry fees and travel costs. And the way I do that, you can see, is I put the entry fees on the top of them. Fuel, this little calculator on the bottom, if you guys download this, will have the distance to every one of the locations. All I do is I Google Maps, like, hey, listen, it's 662 miles to Shasta. The calculator doubles the mileage because it's down and back, right? And then I put in how much, my average fuel mileage. Like when I go into Shasta, we're hauling, like, yeah, I could probably get better than 13.5 miles to the gallon, but the reality is we're probably going 80, and that's as good as we're going to get. And that's something you can use your budget to help you decide. Like if I could get 15 miles to the gallon going freaking 70 instead of 80, it's going to save you a whole bunch of money, but I'm not willing to spend that much time in the truck. Like, we'll check this out. We'll type in 15 miles to the gallon. I only saved $40. I'm going to put 13.5 miles to the gallon, and I'm going to go like hell, right? So anyways, I set that for at the mileage I get for my pickup. So I know that I'm going to drop probably like $400 in fuel down and back to Shasta. Then I budget for boat fuel. Shasta, we were allowed to practice for 2 days. So in the Pro-Ams, we can practice for 2 days. So I spent about $200 in fuel. I probably should have budgeted a little bit more because I think I spent more in the tournament. For instance, the Super 60, I budget less for boat fuel because it's just 2 days on the water. There's no practice. Lodging, the only thing I tell you about lodging is do whatever's best for you, but don't break the bank. I know there's guys that are going to put zero in for lodging and sleep in their truck. That's something you can do. That's a priority you can make. If you're like, I can't swing $7,500 for the season, dude, cut some of that stuff out. The other thing I can tell you about lodging is don't split rooms with people that are going to make you do poor. And the people that I'd be worried about are like people that are super negative, are always caught up in the gossip, but whatever it is. If every time you guys, you're sharing so much time together, if the conversations aren't positive about kicking butt and catching bass, it's going to cost you. So just don't do it. Like, I'd rather spend twice as much in my room and be by myself than to be brought down in all of the BS that's going on at the tournament and all of the blah, 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 all that stuff. That's a mental drain that I don't have the capacity to deal with when I'm trying to win a tournament. I put food in there. And the other thing I do on the bottom is a miscellaneous 10%. You can see that. That's just fishing license for every different state. Everywhere we go, there's about 10% cost increase. So for instance, boat launch fees. Shasta was $25 a day. So I just kind of dump that in. I just say it's 10%. I don't know what they are, but it's a good way to do it. So like my Pro-Am budget for the year is $7,500. That's all 4 of them. There's a couple like lodgings in here that are zero because I get to stay with a buddy. The other thing I do is I have a pickup camper. So when I go to the Columbia River, I put my camper on, which traveling with a camper is heaven. I mean, if you don't got one, don't go buy one because you don't want to spend that money. You can spend it on entry fees. But if you got a pickup camper, I get worse gas mileage. But on really long trips, like when we go down to Don Pedro, the cool thing about that is it's a day and a half down about. I don't have to get a hotel room on the way down. And I just stay at the campground, which is generally quite a bit cheaper. Campgrounds are also quite a bit closer, usually to the launch, so you're not spending so much money or time driving back and forth to the launch in the morning. So I put in a lower gas mileage, which is 11.5 miles to the gallon, about what my truck gets with the camper, and that's calculated into fuel down and back. So that's it. That's the Pro-Am calculator. The Super 60 calculator that I do is obviously quite a bit more. It's about 15 grand, a lot more traveling, so you got to plan for that. And the other thing I don't normally dump in here is the championship costs. Generally, the goal for me is the championship, whatever it costs to get there, should be paid for by checks that I should have cashed. I hope I did. If I didn't, we budgeted out there. But that's your cheat code, guys. Build a budget at the beginning of the year, and it'll help you set and drive priorities to be more successful in whatever you guys jump into, whatever it is. It'll help you out, I promise. So thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. That's the Basscast. Jake Boomer with the Basscast. Talk to you guys soon.